Welcome to Margaritas in Paradise. Hey, today I'm out on Soy Macau. I'm out here for another interview of Everybody Has a Story. And I ended up meeting Bobby Lamb, and he's a local, kind of a music legend here in Pattaya. Anyway, he's been here for a time, and we're going to turn it over and find out a little bit about him and go from there. So.
Gibbons.
I did a lot of playing here when I first came.
Right. So it was just a mix of bars and music venues, that type stuff.
Leo's and them that get gigs outside Burapar.
Right.
Yeah. But I used to play a lot here.
Bobby, welcome.
Oh yeah.
Why don't we start out with you telling us a little bit about yourself, a little bit background information.
Yeah, I don't know where to start really, Tom. I've been working in music all my life. Started very young.
Right.
And started out as a drummer, really. A professional drummer.
Right. Drummer?
At the age of 10 or something.
10?
About that, yeah.
Wow.
And drifted on into other aspects of the music biz.
Sure.
Became a producer.
So, just out of curiosity, is this something your parents bought you a drum set when you were 10 years old and you went from there, or what?
Kind of. I started out playing the trumpet.
Oh, okay.
But I liked it. I liked trumpet a lot.
Sure.
And my mum was my biggest fan. She anything I wanted, she'd get it.
You're an encourager.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
She was a great lady.
Right.
And she got me a trumpet, which I took lessons on how to play the damn thing. And it was okay. I mean, I was doing okay. And my trumpet teacher died.
Wow.
All of a sudden, which upset me terribly because
Sure.
I liked him a lot. And
Right.
I couldn't really move on without a teacher. I needed some instruction.
Right. Yeah. Mentorship.
So I decided I'll quit that and go somewhere else. And the drums, I'd always had my eye on playing drums.
Right.
And same deal. My mum got me a bass drum and a snare drum and one cymbal, a very, very small kit.
Right.
Which I drove everybody crazy with. Put it in the kitchen, made a lot of noise. And we had my dad had made a caravan. He actually built it.
Okay.
Down the garden. Smallish caravan, but there's enough room in there to get the drum kit and a few other musos.
Right.
That I have to know. So it all moved to this caravan.
Right.
And became, rather than just a playground, a little bit more serious. We started to play gigs in the
You were at home now. You're 10 years old. Now this is Birmingham, right?
Yeah.
England. And so at what point did you join a band?
The band just sort of formed itself. Friends of mine that could play something,
Right.
guitar or
Right.
whatever, they'd all start coming round to the caravan, and we just make noise for a while. And got used to the idea of playing songs and putting it together.
Right.
And we do end up playing a few gigs. Anyway, we played out a bit, and it became a bit of a thing. But I was into it, and
Did you guys have a name of your group back then?
No, I don't think we did.
No? Okay.
We just turned up.
Just the neighborhood kids, basically.
Something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And that went fine for a while. It started to get a little bit more serious as the better we got at playing.
Right. At what point in your life was that? I mean, how old were you kid to be?
I was 10, 11.
Oh, 10 or 11?
10, 11, 12, yeah, around that era.
All right, okay. You're playing music. You're not even a teenager, okay? I'm going to try to fast forward this a little bit in age-wise. By the time you're 17, 18, what are you doing?
Pretty much the same thing, really. I was supposed to be going to school, I guess, but I didn't. No, I wasn't very interested in school and stuff like that.
Right.
Music became important to me, and I stuck with it. As did a few of my friends who were dedicated to what they didn't know nor me, but we were working on something.
Right.
And
so at what point did you move into? I don't know. As a youth, you're kind of in that amateur mode, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Very. Yeah.
Okay. So, what's the next step? I mean, is it when you go into a paid musician, maybe?
Not really.
No?
I mean, just a kind of acknowledged thing. We actually got a bit of a following that would turn up and watch us play wherever, somewhere small. And
So, was this nightclubs you were playing in back then,
No,
or was
no.
it the neighbor's garage?
no, it was a youth club kind of
Okay. Yeah.
scene. Good. It was all
Like
good.
a community center of some
Yeah,
sort.
community
that type
center
of
type
thing.
thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Are we talking about, at any point, are you making any money doing this?
No,
Not really.
not at all.
All right. Well, it just shows you where your heart's at, right?
Oh, we didn't do it for the money.
Right.
No, it was just.
So at what point did money come into play?
I don't know. I'd be a bit of a teenager by then.
Oh, okay. So by the time you were 18,
Maybe 16, 17, 18.
well, you started making a little bit of money?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, very good. Now, did you stay in school, or did you give that up, or
No, school was over.
school was over? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, and how about your hair? Were you the hard rocker type guy with the long hair and that type thing, or were you close cut? I mean, like the Beatles or whatever back then?
I don't know. I was a bit of a hairy hippie.
Were you?
Yeah.
Yeah. At what point did you join a band? A money-paying band?
I think the band more or less joined me rather than
Okay.
joined the band. I don't know. I think I was a bit of a leader
All right.
in a way,
Sure.
making plans to do something or other, and the others kind of just trot along behind.
So, were you guys, besides playing, were you guys making your own music, or no? So you're playing other.
We'd be playing old rock and roll songs.
Right.
We entered into the Beatle age,
Right.
which was a big change for everybody in the world, really.
Right. Sure.
Beatles and Elvis, and a lot of great rock and roll in those days.
Yeah, I have a list in front of me right now. We're going to use that a little bit, but it's impressive of the people, the entourage of people that Bobby's been around throughout his life. and but we're going to get to those in a little bit. So, was there at any point that you ended up going on the road? Is that fair to say? How much later?
I don't know, a few years, I guess, 2 or 3 years.
So by then, you're 19, 20 years old?
I'm getting there, yeah.
And are you in the same band at that point?
Probably the same important one or two that were as connected to it as I was.
Right.
Some came and went.
So were the members of the band all the same people, or did they change out all the time?
No, I mean, it was pretty much the same people, I guess.
And you didn't have a name? How'd people know you were coming?
I think we had a few names, but they didn't stick. Like, names don't.
Okay.
And you change it every now and then.
Right.
But we had a few names, yeah.
You can't remember any of the names?
One of them was Cherokees.
Cherokees, yeah.
I don't know why. Things came along and made a difference.
So you're out on the road, you're 20-some years old, and at what point did you felt like you were doing something exactly what you wanted to be doing?
Pretty much all of it. I went to college. I went to an art college.
Right.
Because I could draw pretty good, and I got a entrance to an art college.
Oh, okay.
Which was a great place. It was called Bourneville College of Art, and I mean Bourneville was the famous Bourneville chocolate people.
With that being said, make sure that you give me a big thumbs up, that you're hitting the subscribe button, and hit the little bell next to it for future notification videos coming out. But back to Bobby, an influence in your life was going to the school.
Because there were more players there. There were more musicians there than artists.
Did you get to know anybody that ended up becoming big or anything like that? Bigger than you, maybe, I should say.
Oh, sure. Everybody was bigger than me. No, by then, no. It was still a very amateur game.
Right.
And but I made some good friends at the college who could play. And the better they could play, the better the band would become. And then we ran into people that were more influenced. They could make things happen.
Right. Now, was this a band, the Locomotive? Okay.
Yeah.
So at one point you had Locomotive was a band.
It was.
At what point in your life were you with that band?
Teens.
18 years old. Wow. Okay. So Bobby was in a group called the Locomotive, right?
Yeah.
And he had a hit song called
Rudy's in Love.
All right, Rudy's in Love.
Which was a reggae tune.
Okay. Was that something that got played on the radios or?
Eventually it did. It actually hit the charts.
Wow.
Which was a big break, really.
Yeah, very good. Did it ever make you any money?
Maybe, but I can't remember.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, it probably made a few quid.
You still remember it?
Yeah.
Locomotive, one point, they were the first white boy crossover reggae band.
Okay.
That's quite an achievement, which later ties in with UB40.
Right.
That they sort of set that.
Okay. Yeah, very, very good.
Yeah.
Well, how long were you in the group Locomotive?
I don't know, a couple of years, I guess, at least.
Give our audience an idea, because there's a lot to go over in this.
Another interesting point in Marty was that Bob took over the drumming from John Bonham, who left to join Led Zeppelin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Johnny Bonham.
I have a note here that you jammed with Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
But at what point in your life did that happen?
That was quite a bit later on. We were playing in London.
Right.
A place called the Speakeasy.
The Speakeasy?
It's a nightclub, yeah.
Right.
But it's a late nightclub. It's sort of place where the musicians in town would go after a gig and have some fun, if you like.
Oh, okay.
And we were doing a gig there, and we're on stage playing. In walks Jimmy, sits at a table,
Right.
On the left, I remember where he actually sat on the left-hand side. And he sent his man over, a friend of his, to say, Jimmy wants to get up and jam. And we said, sure thing, yeah, send him up. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix came over. He said he wanted to play bass,
Yeah.
not guitar, which we thought was kind of strange, but we went for it. So we put on the bass guitar, and we said, "Well, you want to play, Jim?" He said, "Look, you just play, I'll follow you." We had got a brass section by then. We had a trumpet and tenor sax, and we started playing this instrumental piece. And he plunked along. He plunked along on the bass, real good. And then he said, "I'll play some guitar." So he took on the guitar, turned it left to right, because he was that way around. And it didn't bother him at all. He was playing it upside down, in fact. And that was all good. We just made
a good noise.
Well, you could say that. We made a good noise. Yeah.
Did you do Hey Joe?
He did a Hey Joe as well.
Very good.
And that was a good night. I remember it. Next day, he figured out who was our management and sent a telegram saying Jimmy wants to thank the band for last night. Had a great time, etc. Blah de blah.
How cool is that?
Yeah. Everybody was happy. But London was full of little geeks in those days.
So, at that point, what are we talking about? Is this the 60s, 1960 category, 1970s? What is it?
60s, yeah, late 60s.
Yeah,
Late 60s?
67.
Yeah.
Okay. 1967. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're moving along here, and I have a note here that you played with Steve Gibbons' band.
That's another story.
All right. We want to hear them.
Yeah. Well, that was the real beginning of it all, in professional terms. I just got to rewind my memory. There was a band called Idle Race, the Idle Race. They were doing pretty good. They were pretty popular. Good band, good songs. Were
they a chart type band or?
They're getting there.
Getting there?
They're very close to that, yeah.
Right.
And
It was Jeff Lynne from ELO, isn't it?
Jeff Lynne from ELO, yeah.
He was in the Idle Race and
Yes,
he left.
it was. The original Idle Race kind of split up a bit. It broke up, if you like.
Okay.
But then it reformed in the bass player of Idle Race reformed what then was Locomotive, if you like, into Idle Race. And the bass player, he was the only original member of Idle Race left. And the rest of us were a couple of guitar players who were very good. And Steve Gibbons, who was a great singer, who had a bit of a following. And so we became the Idle Race, which it did work for a time. I mean, we were out doing gigs as Idle Race
Right.
and doing okay with that, actually earning money.
So were you at that point opening shows or what were you doing?
Anything that would have us, I suppose.
Were you featured entertainment at that point or?
Anything happened back then.
So Idle Race continued for how long?
I don't know, maybe 6 months to a year, I guess.
Okay. Well, everything's moving pretty fast then.
It moved in an unspecific way.
Right.
People would jump from one band to another and reform. And Jeff Lynne, he was the main guy of Idle Race.
Right.
He now works with Paul McCartney and all those people.
So let me ask you, at this point, is this sex, drugs, and rock and roll type of a category?
Yeah,
Is it? Okay.
if you like.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's fair to say. Is it girls on stage throwing their panties at you and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we're looking at here, and it's probably a dream world for a lot of people. And these guys are living it. They're right in the middle of it.
Yeah. We're just school kids that got pulled into that world.
Right.
Good world to be in.
Yeah. I don't know.
It was cool.
Was there times that you'd wake up in the morning and think, what happened last night?
Maybe. If I could wake up. But, yeah,
So-
it was a bit like that. Yeah.
Right. Now, so we have a mention here of the Who and Keith Moon and that type of stuff. How did these guys work into the picture?
That comes later on.
So at what point are we up to now?
Idle Race, I think.
All right. So at what point in the Muso, is that fair to say, Muso life, are you at right now?
Me or the band?
You.
What was I? Where was I at? I was just having fun. I was enjoying it.
How old are you now?
Very old.
No. At that point in time.
Oh, then.
Yeah. Are you 20 years old yet?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what does your family think of what you're doing?
My father didn't really dig it.
All right.
My mum was fine with it.
So she was a supporter of you from your whole life?
From day one, yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't care about it,
Right.
what I was doing. I mean, they would have preferred me to get a proper job and settle down.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I'd chosen the fatalistic as a drummer.
Did you play anything else along the way? A little bit of guitar
A little bit of keyboard,
and keyboard.
but not much of it. I
How
wasn't
about the
good.
trumpet? Did you ever jump back in and bother with it?
No.
Yeah. Now, were you a singer?
I wasn't then. I sing a bit these days, but
Okay.
then I didn't sing.
All right.
We played a gig with ELO, and we turned up for this gig, and there were posters on the wall saying ELO plus
ELO what?
and like plus
Oh, plus.
and
Okay.
the Steve Gibbons band.
Oh, yeah.
And we went, what the fuck's that all?
So that's a time in your life when you were pretty close to being a feature. If they were talking about you guys, right?
They were. They in the story is ELO manager being, what's his name now? Don Arden, very famous manager guy
Right.
who managed Black Sabbath. And Don Arden, because he didn't like the idea it being ELO plus Idle Race, changed the Idle Race bit to whatever he thought was appropriate. So he called it, and the Steve Gibbons band. He just chose a name out of the band, it being the singer, obviously.
Sure.
The Steve Gibbons band. So we saw this on the poster. We weren't impressed to start with, but we a bit later on we kind of decided that it was a good name.
All right.
So we kept it. We hung on to that,
All right.
and we carried on as the Steve Gibbons band. And that was a great band. That was the real deal.
Were you traveling at that point, or?
A bit, yeah.
Yeah.
We were moving around, but the name the Steve Gibbons band kind of stuck.
Sure.
The Steve Gibbons band became that from out of the Idle Race.
Okay.
It was sort of done for us, if you like.
Okay.
But we stuck with it, and it worked. And I think Don Arden was fairly heavy-duty manager.
Very good.
He would have helped it along a little bit.
It has to be. So at this point in the game, you guys have to be making a little bit of money,
We were doing okay. We were making some kind of money, yeah.
right? Well, enough to live on, make it worth your time, even though
Sure.
you guys. So what's next?
I mean, that was a particularly good band.
Well, how long did the Steve Gibbons band last?
10 years, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Was there any famous songs or anything that hit the charts or anything like that?
Yeah. So we had a big hit single with a song called Tulane, which is a Chuck Berry song that we covered. Go ahead on, Tulane. Very good record. And that hit the charts, which gave us a lot of exposure. We do Top of the Pops and stuff like that.
Right.
If that was around at the time, I think it probably might have been.
What type of crowd sizes would come out to see you guys? Was this 1,000 people, 20,000 people? Do you remember?
Crowd sizes, that's an interesting point.
Now, we're not talking about Trump and... So, you go play a place. Now, you weren't... At this point, you weren't playing community centers anymore, right?
No, not really.
You were in auditoriums and that type of thing?
We'd be
In large venues?
largish.
Right. So, having 20,000 people there would that be normal?
No, that's heavily original, yes. That would be a complete success.
That's complete success. 10,000? 5,000?
It's very hard to say. I mean, some of the time, small crowds,
Yeah, that's fair.
small big clubs, Madison. Yeah, but that was much later.
Yeah.
So at this time with the Steve Gibbons band, you had success, but we're not talking about the Madison Square Garden success yet. Okay.
Not yet.
Okay. All right. So how long did you stay in the recording business?
The rest of my life, I guess.
All right. Okay. Well, that's fair. Now we have the Who.
Well, that was with the Gibbons band. They supported the Who on tour. So they opened for the Who all over the US.
Well, we kind of got discovered by Townsend. Pete Townsend.
Pete Townsend?
We were playing a gig at somewhere down in London.
So you were really traveling at this point.
We were about to become that, yes. And Townsend saw us playing,
Right?
was blown away, and he came in the dressing room after a gig
Right?
and said, hello, I'm Pete. I'm Pete. And he said, you're the best band I've seen in 10 years. We went, oh, okay, thanks, Pete. And he said, consider yourself signed.
Wow.
That means you've got a deal with a big label.
Right?
And we went, okay. And we signed with Parlophone for a proper recording contract, if you like.
So this is before the recording studio. This is after?
Yeah, the recording studio was already happening.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I mean, that was always there. And I was still playing with the band because
Which was the Steve Gibbons band.
yes. Anyway, we got signed to Parlophone, and they said the Who's manager sort of took us on,
Right?
and he put us on the road with the Who
Wow. So,
as the opening act.
so you're an opening act for the Who.
Yeah, and that was big news. I mean, because we were playing some huge gigs, earning a few pounds.
So you made it to the U.S. at some point?
I mean, we did 3 tours of America with it.
3 tours of America? Okay.
Most of which were about 6 months long, and travelled around. And we went all over the world with the Who.
Right.
And
What were some of the venues that you played? Do you remember?
Nathan just said a while ago.
Oh, Madison Square Garden?
That was one. When we did. Oh yeah, and we played a lot of great gigs. Anywhere that they went, we went,
Okay.
which was pretty much everywhere.
Sure.
And I had a good time with it. Keith Moon and I became good friends.
So, Keith Moon,
The drummer,
all right.
he was a great guy.
Teach him a thing or two or what?
No, I didn't need to teach him. No, he was just a good man.
Yeah. 10 years went by. What happened then?
After 10 years,
If we look up Steve Gibbons band right now, what are we going to find?
you're going to find probably a hit record,
Okay.
2-lane, several albums, most of which weren't very good.
Okay.
I have to say that.
So, are these guys that you still know today?
Yes, they are. Yeah, indeed.
Right. And did you break up from them, or did you just develop into something else, or what happened?
That's hard to explain. I mean, it did break up,
Okay.
but
When you guys break up, is this a mutual thing where you just everybody agrees to go their own way, or they're retiring, or there's a fight, or one guy thinks he's too good for the rest of you, that type of thing? All of it?
and we broke up. But
So that's a sad day, right?
not necessarily. Yeah, I mean, during that time with that band, I got into recording heavily. I got very interested in making records, and I kind of built home studio,
Okay. You had your own studio?
small studio, but I was doing pretty well with it. And where I lived in Birmingham, there were plenty of bands around that wanted to come and use my place and work with me
Sure.
to get a result. And that's how I carried on, if you like. I carried on playing with various people, I guess. Recording became my main
So
thing.
you were recording other bands, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it worked for me. It was good. I could make money.
All right. Well, I'm going to welcome Nathan Butts into the interview here. Good friend of Bobby's. And the thing to remember here is Nathan's been playing with Bobby for a long time here in Thailand and just really knows his story. Just as a good friend, he's talked to him enough and everything, and he's kind of helping out with the story a little bit. So, Nathan, welcome.
Hey.
And so where are we going from this point?
So, we just remember, or my memory twigged about the Dog That Bit People. It was a really good band that Bob was in for a short time, and they made a really good album and recorded at Abbey Road Studios.
Yeah.
We
made one album, which was great album.
And that album, now, if you want to buy it, it's like about $1,000.
Really?
It's a collector vinyl.
Well,
The Dog That Bit People.
The dog.
Maybe we can put the link to the album in down.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. So check the description below. There'll be a link in there for that album.
So then Bobby's done his time with the Gibbons band and he hung out with the Who and whatnot, and the band kind of fizzled. After 10 years, it didn't break on through.
Right.
So the band split, and then Bob had the recording studio,
Right.
and he's got his Gibbons sort of fraction with the guitarist, and they do another album called System Logic, which is really advanced, I think, for the time, like early 80s, with the digital kind of drums and the sound that you had going in it. It was,
Right.
Not so much the digital drums.
but they had some good effects on it, I thought.
Maybe in bits and pieces, yes, but I never really liked all that.
And they shelved it. They didn't release the album, and they shelved it. And now, so now it's finally been released in Amsterdam, and he gets regular royalties from it.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. So then he's got the recording studio, and that's now he's living. He's a producer.
So-
And now, Bobby, you're the producer. And was it Duran Duran came first before him?
No, UBs came first. I discovered about this band called UB40.
UB40. Okay.
Reggae band, wonderful band, superb, and recorded them, and it was beautiful. And we made a great album called Signing Off, which was very big. It sold worldwide, a whole lot. Signing Off, UB40. And then that made me slightly famous where I was living. People would be like banging my door saying, "Can we come and work?" One being,
So they came to you.
they did.
Wow.
Birmingham band.
Right.
Birmingham's had some really great acts come from it,
Sure,
right?
sure.
It was very busy at a certain time, yeah.
Wow.
And Duranis came in, who I worked with quite a while.
And then you divorce your wife and come to Pattaya.
Did I?
Yeah.
Wait a minute here. You had a wife?
I used to have a wife, yeah.
She's a model.
Model.
Right.
Can we say her name or not?
Victoria.
Victoria. Victoria's Secrets? Oh.
She was a, what do you call it? A walk-on, catwalk.
Oh, really? Wow.
Just clothes, nothing else. And
Do you have any children or anything?
no, don't think so.
Not that you're aware of, huh?
Not that I'm aware of.
Same here.
Is it true that you used to like to go to the nudist colonies?
Say that again?
The nudist colonies. Is that just a rumour?
That's not a rumour. I mean, we used to travel a lot, my wife and I. And places like, there's a place in south of France called Cap d'Agde, which is like a small little town
Right?
in south of France, which is everybody walks around completely naked day and night, which we found to be amusing and stuck with it. But we did a lot of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But we traveled a lot, my wife and I. But anyway, that all ended up.
And then someone said you should go to Thailand, right? Morstan?
Guess they did.
What time, what year was that? Do you remember? When you first came to Thailand?
No, I don't remember.
Would have been around 2000, 2009.
I honestly don't remember that.
Bobby, when you came here, you didn't come here to really play, right? Or did you?
No, I came here to escape, I guess.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'd had enough of Birmingham. It was
When you came here, when you said to escape, did you just move here, or did you come here thinking that you were going to stay?
no, I came here thinking I was going to stay for 1 year.
You found a lot of people that had the same interests as you did.
Well, there's one in particular who said to me one day, "Look, if you want to go away on holiday, I'll take over the studio and look after it for you and move in."
Right.
Because it was in where I lived was up above it. Studio was on the ground floor, and I said, "Yeah, 1 year," and he went, "Yeah, fine." So we did this kind of vocal deal for 1 year of him moving in and me moving out. And I came to Thailand, lived in Koh Samui for a long time, which is lovely.
Right.
I don't know, have you been there?
I've been several times.
Koh Samui.
Sure.
Do you like it?
I like it. It's expensive for me, you know. What do you think of Koh Samui?
I love the place.
Did you?
Yeah.
So, you had a choice at one point between Koh Samui and here. How'd you end up here?
Good question. I'm really not sure how. I think I actually went up to what's the place at the top of the country?
What?
The town at the top.
Bangkok?
No,
Chiang Mai.
Chiang Mai.
Chiang-
I went up to Chiang Mai for a change. Didn't like it at all.
Right.
And I had to renew my visa and go to Laos for a few days to get a stamp.
Right.
Didn't like Laos. It was like it was closed. But anyway, I went there, met some people who said, "No, you need to get out of here. Go down to Bangkok and work your way across from Bangkok
Right.
and make sure that you visit Pattaya on your way." So I took this journey, went down and across, came in through Pattaya, and I quite liked it then. I don't like it now.
You were living in Soy 6, though.
You were living in Soy 6.
I was indeed. Well, the same people told me that. They said, "Go and live in Soy 6, you'll like it." And I did.
That guy where you were staying told you about Leo's?
Yeah, some guy in Soy 6 found out I was a player, and he said, "You got to go to Leo's bar."
Okay.
So I did. I checked out Leo's.
There, and there's Bobby sitting down on the ground on the step. "Hey, how you going?" We chatted. And he told me that he played the drums and who he played with. And I went over and mentioned to Scott, and then Tucky was there, and they said, "Bring him over." And Bobby went over and just fitted right in. They're all waiting for this great drummer to turn up.
It worked instantly. It was a
Good fit.
good happening, yeah. And I really loved Leo's bar. It was wonderful. So I hung out there for quite a while. And I used to go and play every night down there.
You were in the band with Len Tucky, Susie Quattro's husband,
Yeah,
Tony Stevens of Funk Hat and Savoy Brown.
Right.
yeah,
They were
yeah.
both hanging out Leo's and formed a band with Bobby, and they had Scott Easy on
Scott
guitar
Easy, right.
at one point, and Brian Thomas singing.
They were just great players.
How does this mix of people just come together?
Yeah, all music's a common denominator.
Right.
And Leo's Bar was where we went and
Right.
were comfortable to play and mix with other people and jam and spend the nights away.
Yeah, it was a perfect place. It's a shame that you've not seen it.
Now,
You'd have enjoyed it.
Nathan here is also a music guy as well, and play guitar. He's a singer, and he has his own style, right? Pretty much. Anyway, I think I have a picture. If not, I'm sure. Well, and eventually we'll do a separate interview with Nathan as well. So he's basically kind of helping out with it right now, but he has his own story to tell for sure. So where are we at, Bob? Now at this point, you're with Leo. And or at the Leo bar,
Yeah.
and you probably played other places too while that's going on,
Yeah.
right? Is there any place worth mentioning? I mean, did you do like Bernie's, or were there other places, or?
Yeah, there were.
Yeah, you did Burrapo.
Oh, Burpa. So the motorcycle route.
Yeah, that was a big gig for you guys.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, somebody would always.
Now, did you guys have a group at that point?
They did. There was the Moaning Leasers.
Owning Lisa's?
Yeah, that was, and Brian Thomas. What did he call your band?
There were just several bands, a collection of. people. But
How about some of these the Thai singers? Did you play with any of them?
They kind of have gigs elsewhere. They're on a gig. They're always doing, like the Blues Factory had at the time had Lamb Morrison, Snowman
right.
regularly 6-7 nights a week. So it was rare for those guys to ever come to Leo. You know, we certainly crossed paths. We'd go to Blues Factory too, get up and play there.
yeah,
That was a good venue back in the day. It's all gone now.
Does that bring us till today, basically?
yeah.
So what's next in your life?
I don't know, man.
I'm doing some producing work. If anyone is watching this video, real recording, have his email and someone can shoot him a message.
So that's a possibility. Anybody's watching that needs help producing in that, Bob's available. And we're going to have his contact information mailed, so you can go directly and talk to Bobby about it. Right, Bobby?
Sure.
All right. Yeah, he's always looking. He's still young. He wants to get it. You know? Do you have any recommendations? What if you were coming to Thailand now? Is it a good place to live?
It can be.
If times were different in different ways, would you choose someplace else besides Pattaya, or is Koh Samui on the back of your mind, or?
Yeah, I do actually want to go back
Yeah.
to Koh Samui.
I have a lot of guys that mention that.
Yeah,
Are you missing Birmingham?
a little bit.
A little bit. Is there any point in your life you're going to go back?
Doubt it. I don't think it'll happen.
Okay. Well, do you have family still in Birmingham?
Yeah. Well, I've got two sisters.
Okay.
One lives in Spain. The other lives in Rome.
Do you have any contact with them? Yeah.
Only email.
Any chance they come over and visit you?
I don't suppose so.
Okay.
No.
Well, have you faced many hurdles living in Thailand?
Not really.
No?
Only money, I suppose. The lack of.
Right. How about beer or wine? Same. Okay. Chevy or Toyota?
Chevy.
All right. Well, what do you think of the climate here? Is it good?
It's very hot.
Do you miss snow?
A little bit.
Being honest, most of us don't, but how about the food?
It's not me now.
Okay.
I like English food.
Okay, let's read.
Not anymore.
What makes you happy?
Music, I guess.
Music. Is there anything you'd like to add to this interview?
No.
Are you getting bored already?
No. I'm cool.
Bobby, I appreciate you coming on Everybody Has a Story here on Margaritas in Paradise. Now, again, shake your hand. All right. And I definitely appreciate it. I'm sure we got a lot of interesting information. Now, if you haven't done so already, of course, make sure give me that big thumbs up. You're hitting the subscribe button. Hit the bell right next to it for future notifications of videos that are coming out. Without a doubt, make sure you're checking the description box below. There's all kinds of links in there, especially a lot of these albums and bands and that we were talking about. And there'll be links that I'll throw in throughout the video about Bobby's life, okay, and things of interest of that sort there. Also, if you're thinking about, if you have the thought of wanting to produce or something like that, if you're a muso and you want to get a hold of Bobby, definitely get a hold of him. He's open to that, and this is a guy that could change your life. All right, so definitely take advantage of it, especially while you're here. Don't miss that opportunity. All right, other than that, everything good?
Yeah.
All right, can you wave to the camera?
Hi, everybody.
Bye-bye. All right, okay, that's it. Now, the last thing I want to mention is go Chiefs. Can't say Chiefs, and that's it. And we're going to be doing an interview with Nathan, I think, on another day, right? Yeah, okay. Okay.